Welcome back to our mini-series. We are your hosts,
The chicken.
and the egg, where the eternal question remains, who comes first?
What's up? It's the chicken. This is part 2 of our mini episode series where you are learning all about the animals in our backyard, Galveston, Texas.
Hey, I'm the egg, and today I'm going to tell you about the ghost wolves of Galveston. So these creatures were found wandering the island, and they actually have quite a large percentage of once extinct red wolf DNA.
Ooh, cool. Don't forget, you can follow us on social media at Freaky Fauna Files for all of the photos, updates, everything that you would want to see from our episodes will be on our socials. So go ahead and give us a follow. You can also tune in on your favorite podcast platforms for a wild ride unlike any other.
All right, let's get started. So a little background on Galveston to help us understand where these wolves are. Galveston is a long and skinny strip. So you basically have east and west. If you stand on the north side of the island, you could squint and jump and see the south side, the border.
Yeah, you got Seawall and you got Strand.
Yeah. So mostly we're going to be either left or right. That's all you got. So it all started when local resident Ron Rutan, he is credited to the discovery of the ghost wolves when he let out his dog to go potty, and this is kind of sad, but it was attacked and killed by a pack of local wolves.
A pack?
Yes.
Okay. Jeez.
So
We're getting into danger zone quick.
I know. I gotta start you off strong. He didn't think anything of the attack other than the coloration of these coyotes. So he found some local scat, which is fancy word for poop.
Poop.
He sent in the poop to the local A&M Galveston Tamag lab, and he said, "Can you tell me a little bit more about these coyotes?" After the DNA was ran, the lab ended up writing a paper about this discovery, and they said, we've got an interesting mix of DNA. That is not a coyote or a wolf, which would be your one of two options that you think this dog would be. It is actually a hybrid of both, and not just any wolf, but it contained more than 50% of red wolf DNA.
More than 50? Mm-hmm. That's significant.
Which is an extinct wolf that used to roam the southeast border of the United States. So, a town hall meeting where over 400 people gathered to listen to this paper being discussed. A couple people had been like, yeah, I've seen these wolves, but I just thought they were stray dogs, right? Mm-hmm. So they ended up naming these the ghost wolves because you rarely see them, and if you do, it's interesting to think that they are the product of these extinct wolves.
Yeah, it's like half of their DNA is ghost. It's from the ghost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they ended up launching a citizen science program where locals can send in photos, maybe some DNA samples, some scat samples, and it'll allow them to document where they are, what they're eating, so you can see their territory, their location, their hunting patterns, their diet, and they can also get a little bit more about DNA samples.
Yeah, Citizens in Science is actually a super cool program that you can see both with like diving and here now with the ghost wolves. It's just a way for the average Joe to do some science and to help out your scientists, because people and researchers will use that data that they collect from these citizen science programs to write their papers or to support whatever they are thinking. So it's a good opportunity, and if you do have the chance to do it, I would recommend it because it's fun. Why not? Cool. It's a cool little hobby, right? I'm a citizen in science.
I'm a citizen scientist.
Hold a lot of pride in that.
Mm-hmm. So these ghost wolves actually caught the attention nationwide because New York Times wrote an article about them in 2022 titled "The Ghost Wolves of Galveston." So with a little bit of attention, maybe some funding from New York Times, the discovery of these ghost wolves led to the creation of GCCP, which is Gulf Coast Canine Protection Plan.
Oh, cool. I didn't know we had something like that.
Yeah, it's awesome. To raise awareness about canine species that are native to the southern border And they have a special project dedicated to these ghost wolves, where their main goal is to document the percentage of DNA through, the
Like
different
eDNA?
generations of these wolves. So check it out, GulfCoastCanineProject.org, and they have some beautiful photos where you can see the red coloration of these ghost wolves.
Okay.
All right, let's get started on their biology. There are only about 50 individuals that currently roam the Galveston Island.
50?
50. Only
Oh.
50. Yeah.
Wow. And they're only here, yeah?
Yeah.
That we know about? Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll tell you a little bit more about how they might have even got here.
Yeah.
They are a genetic mix between extinct red wolves and your basic coyote. They had an unusually high DNA percentage of red wolves, which were officially declared extinct in 1980.
Oh, so it's been a while, too.
Yeah.
It's been, what, like 40-ish years?
So in size, they are larger than coyotes, and they are characterized by their long, lanky legs and their reddish-gray fur. Their scientific name is Canis rufus. Thought that was great.
Cool. Love that.
I'm sorry, those are red wolves. I don't think they have characterized ghost wolves quite yet because they are such a hybrid.
Yeah, and they're new, too.
Yeah, so red wolves is Canis rufus, so that was their ancestors. So back in 1980, they posed a huge threat to urbanization and livestock, so there was an effort to wipe them out, and it looks like they succeeded.
And wiping out the red wolves?
Yes, red wolves.
Yeah.
So between 1974 and 1980, 14 red wolves, remember we're talking about red wolves, not the ghost wolves,
Yep.
were brought to a sanctuary to breed to attempt to save these species. 63 individuals were released into the Great Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. And for a while, they were doing okay. They reached about 100 to 120 individuals
Okay.
before their numbers started to significantly decline because they have no protection over their species. They can be hunted in unlimited numbers year-round. So there was nothing
that
stopping
sucks.
hunters, maybe vehicle accidents, basic
Just no
survival through the
regulation.
winter. Yeah. So only about 20 are still documented in South Carolina. And I'm not quite sure if they are pure red wolf or if they are kind of a mixture of red wolf and coyote due to the inbreeding with whatever dogs might have already existed on the mountains. But back to the ghost wolves. So they, due to urbanization, they kind of migrated south to Texas, and they landed up on Galveston Island due to it being lesser developed throughout the 1900s and early 2000s. Galveston Island has a lot of dunes, protected wetlands, estuaries, so they found their home there. And it wasn't until the proposal of Margaritaville on East Beach that it really
that's been a whole
started
thing.
to become a problem for their habitat.
Yeah, because from what I've heard, the ghost wolves will like use that as like part of their like migratory path, or like they'll use that area, and so they're trying to build a huge Margaritaville resort there, which I'll hold my tongue on what we think about that.
So geographically, a good portion of West Island is decently taken up by residential beach houses. The center island is highly urbanized.
Yeah, definitely developed in the center.
Yeah. And east is quite a long stretch of undeveloped land. Like I said, it's going to be beach dunes, grasslands, wetlands.
All mosquitoes.
Yeah. So that's where they're living, and they were happy until Margaritaville, which is now confirmed. It will be finished in 2026. It is a 95-acre... It's going to be concrete. It is a resort, so they're going to be losing quite a bit of their natural habitat.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a lazy river and all sorts of stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be big.
Which is sad.
And they have been able to put trackers on quite a few of these ghost individuals, and it shows that they spend the majority of their time away from the developed areas of Galveston and more time right where Margaritaville is going to be. So
we love that for our lovely ghost wolves.
Yeah, that definitely raises a problem for the territory and just natural habitat of these wolves in general.
Yeah.
But I can talk a little bit more about the wolves themselves. So like I said, they are larger than a coyote, and they've got long legs, reddish-gray fur. They are about 4 to 5 feet, or 130 to 160 centimeters long. Okay. So a typical dog, maybe a bit taller.
Yeah.
They are 40 to 80 pounds or 20 to 40 kilograms. Their diet is pretty heavily carnivorous. They eat whatever they can find.
Yeah, I was about to say they're probably a little bit of scavengers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would definitely classify them as scavengers. They eat roadkill, or they kill deer, rodents, possums, raccoons, family pets, unfortunately.
Yeah, probably some birds, too, because we get a lot of migratory birds down here.
Yeah, for
wink,
sure.
Wink, next episode.
Next episode. Tune in for some birds.
Tune in for some birds.
But since they are in such low numbers, it would make sense that they eat anything they can find.
Yeah, we're trying to keep those numbers up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I wonder how their reproduction is, because a lot of the time with hybrids, you have it to where, like the mule, that actually ends up, ends up being infertile, like barren. So I wonder if that's the case with them, or if their numbers are going to be up, because I cannot imagine a coyote and a wolf mixing. I just feel like that looks weird. But then again, we've got shepherds and chihuahuas mixing as well. So you can't question everything.
I can tell you a little bit about that.
Cool.
Their life expectancy in the wild is typically 7 to 9 years, but tracking data for ghost wolves in Galveston only shows about 2 to 3 years.
Oh, sad.
And
I wonder why it's lower here.
Well, due to industrialization, hunting, especially vehicle accidents. We also have trains, so there's not a lot of good things going for them. Their life expectancy is lower, and to just put icing on top of the cake, there have not been very many litters in the last 5 years. So while their population is kind of steady around 50, that is not exactly sustainable, because
50 is not enough.
They typically have litters of 3 to 8 pups, but like I said, very few litters have been viable these
probably
last
just
couple of
because
years.
Conditions for them haven't been fantastic. I wonder if they're holding off, like certain animals have in our podcast that we've talked about, where they will decide not to have their babies, or they'll hold off. What was it, like the kangaroo?
Yeah, oh yeah.
They'll hold off.
Dormancy.
Yeah, in a state of dormancy. So I wonder if that's kind of where they're at, or if they just can't get enough nutrients to help them. Which is wild, because if they do just cross the causeway, there are so many underdeveloped areas around Galveston. And there's actually a lot of, parks, too, that you can go to, like nature reserve parks and stuff like that.
You just gotta make it there first.
Yeah, I just gotta make it there. I wonder if we could, help relocate them, bring in the helicopter, bring in a net, and do, the whole, relocation process. I feel like that would help them probably the most, especially with the Margaritaville coming.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. I mean, it'll bring money to Galveston, which is good.
I mean, like you said, there are a lot of things that could be affecting why litters are not viable, especially because they are hybrids. That already decreases their odds of having good pups. And stressors, environmental stressors such as urbanization.
Hurricanes.
A lot of people are coming to Galveston for tourism.
Oh, a lot.
And food stress, habitat stress, heat. So there could be a very many number of factors that are unfortunately keeping these wolves at low numbers. But Ron Wooten and the citizens of Galveston are really putting in an effort to track these wolves, try and create a more safe environment for them. So if you do end up visiting Galveston, I would say you can look for them. I was once at a rooftop bar when I saw a pack of about 3 chilling in the train tracks.
What? What rooftop bar were you at?
I was at Stute.
Really?
Yeah.
And you saw them all just chilling?
Oh, yeah, they were over by the cruise.
I've seen them over on East End, but never in a pack. I've only seen one.
Yeah, I thought I was tripping because I was like, there are wolves. I mean, this is an area, you're downtown, you're next to the cruise. It is such a heavily populated, and there were just 3 wolves running around on the train tracks where the cruise.
That's cool.
Yeah,
it's probably the most populated area, one of the most populated areas.
Yeah.
Right there along 25th and everything.
So if you think you're gonna visit Galveston, come see the red wolves. You can take pictures of their beautiful coat, but do your best to keep it at a distance.
Yeah, stay out of their way.
Yeah.
Don't feed them, please. It's not good to feed the wildlife ever, because it teaches them to rely on humans for food. So you really want to stay away from. I know it's tempting, especially if you see one struggling, but the best thing that you can do is just leave it alone. Same with the, blue nudibranch in the previous episode, or all of the animals, really, that we've talked about in the podcast. Just admire, From afar.
From afar.
From afar. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You don't really want to get up close because you never know. I mean, if it can attack a pet, it could probably attack you.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially if it feels threatened. I mean, yeah, you never know.
Yeah, you do. You never know. It's always better to play it safe. Play it safe than sorry. Especially if you're traveling to a new area, too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, thanks for joining us for part 2 of our Galveston mini-series, 3rd episode, where we'll talk about some birds native to the area. Remember to check us out on social media at Freaky Fauna Files for updates. You can send us an email at info@freakyfaunafiles.com if you want to submit some questions for our questionnaire. Feel free to give our previous episodes a listen. And as always, we would like to thank our listeners in each and every country. Until next time, guys, stay freaky.